Okay, good evening and welcome to Just Daf It as part of Yeshiva YouTube. Welcome to the special Moshe Shabbos Shir. Uh, we're doing Nazir Daf Hey, number 5. We just started a new Masechta. I'll start from the bottom of Dalam with Beis. 4 lines from the bottom. It says, we're talking about Nazir Olam. We discussed in the previous Mishnah the difference between a Nazir Shimshon and a Nazir Olam. There's some practical differences. Nazir Shimshon was for his life. Nazir Olam is also to take a Naziris for your entire life. So the Gemara wants to figure out where we know the concept of Nazir Olam exists from. So the last words, 4 lines from the bottom of Dalam and Beis, Nazir Olam Heichaksiv. Where do we find it? The Sanya, Rebbe Omer. Rebbe says, Avshalom Nazir Olam Haya. Who was the most famous Nazir Olam? Avshalom was the son of David, who rebelled against David and eventually was killed. After 40 years, we'll talk soon in the Gemara why it says 40 years from what. Avshalom said to the king, who was his father David, let me go to Hebron and let me complete the neder. And what was he doing there? Just like we said, a Nazir Olam, as opposed to a Nazir Shimshon, every time his hair gets very heavy, he's allowed to cut his hair, but he has to bring karbanos, like the completion of a Naziris, and then start again because he's a Nazir forever. So he wanted to go to Hebron at the end of the year to Megaleach. How do you know every 12 months? That was the time when he was cutting his hair, right? You have to wait till your hair is very heavy, 12 months. Shenemar, we'll see it's a machlokas. Shenemar, according to Rebbe, it's 12 months. Shenemar, yamim liyamim. This is a pasuk. The pasuk the article brings v'galcho as rosha v'yamikes yamim liyamim asher yigaleach yikavid alav yigilcho v'shakal asar rosha ma'asayim shkolim be'eben hamelech. It says when he would go to cut his hair. It says miyamim liyamim. Vaguely it says from time to time, right? And where he would cut his hair because it was very heavy for him. Like we learned in Nazir Olam. This is the source for Nazir Olam of Shalom. That there is a constant Nazir Olam, and when it gets too heavy, the hair, you cut it. V'yalif, Rebbe, who held that he cut his hair every 12 months, even though it doesn't say exactly how long it was, it's yamim liyamim. Rebbe learns, V'yalif, yamim, top of ham and olive, yamim, bate arichoma. Ma hasim yud beis chodesh, avkan yud beis chodesh. Arichoma is a portion of the Torah. I believe it's end of Sefer Vayikra. It talks about, in Eretz Yisrael, when you sell land or a house or property in a walled city, you have, if it's a walled city, you can redeem your property. You have the right to buy it back for the price you sold it at, only for a 12-month period. And after 12 months, you can no longer buy it back. So there, Yamim refers to 12 months. So there also, this is Yamim, so Gzera Shava, we learned one from the other. It also means a 12-month period. Rabbi Norai argues on Rabbi. Norai, the Gemara says in the end of Maseches, Horios is actually another name for Rabbi Meir. Megaleach Echad, Le Shloshim Yom. Once every 30 days, he gets them Galea. And Nazir Olam, every 30 days. Doesn't sound so bad, right? I get a haircut, less frequently than once every 30 days. When I was younger, I got haircuts more often, once every 5 weeks, 6 weeks. Now my hair doesn't grow as quickly anymore, so maybe once every 2 months I get a haircut. So if you're a Nazir, only 30 days. We'll talk about this in Ian Ben Sion. What is this kind of Nazir? If really, I'll see the Mishnah on Hayam and Aleph, on the bottom of this daf. It says that a regular Nazir says 30 days. Nazir is one of the Isurim, the main Nazir of Nazir, so you can't cut your hair. How hard is it not to cut your hair for 30 days? You get a haircut, take a Nazir, 30 days later you're getting a haircut, even before than you would normally get a haircut. So, we'll talk more about that in Yud Ben Sion, I think what's going on. And the Rai says, even a Nazir Olam, every 30 days he can cut his hair and bring karbanos and cut his hair. Every Friday, he can get a haircut. We find we have a precedent. Where's the precedence that it's important to cut your hair once every 7 days? Princes, right? The Gemara says in Sanhedrin, kings get a haircut every day, but the princes get a haircut once every 7 days. So now the Gemara is going to analyze these 3 different opinions. My time with the Rebbe. What's the reason of Rebbe? Yalef and Batei Rechoma. He learned from Batei Rechoma. It's 12 months. For how Rebbe? The problem is the Gemara in Erechin, when it talks about Batei Rechoma, records Rebbe's opinion. Rebbe says the word Yamim means 2 over there, 2 days, right? Which is teaching another law about Batei Rechoma, that, right, when you conduct a transaction, you sell a property in Arechoma, so you have 12 months to redeem it. But also, you can't redeem it for 2 days, right? So when you sell the property, you have to wait 2 days before you redeem it. So he interprets Yomim for the other limud. He doesn't interpret Yomim to mean 12 months. So how is he learning Gzera Shava by Avshalom to mean 12 months? So the Gemara says, "Hi Gzera Shava mishum kovid gomer," because it says by Avshalom that his hair was heavy. So it's impossible to say that Yomim by Avshalom meant 2 days, because your hair is not heavy in 2 days. So therefore, he said, obviously, you're right. In regards, in Erechin, he does say that Yamim means 2 days, but in regards to Gzera Shava of, what you learn from Bat Erechoma to this pasuk by Avshalom, you're going to have to say it means the 12-month period. Uvishne Yamim Leika Kovet, like the Gemara says, 2 days, it's not, your hair is not that heavy. Maybe Yamim means, instead of there, it means 2 days, but here it means 2 years. Right? There's a pasuk that says at the end of a period of 2 years, this is in Bereshis, by Paro, when we want to make Gzera Shava, we want to be precise. So the Yamim by Batei Arechoma didn't have the word Shanim, and also by Avshalom didn't have the word Shanim. So you can't learn from a pasuk which had the word Shanim also. Maybe it's 30 days. Let's say about Chodesh Yamim. Right there, it means a period of a month, of days of a month, which is 30 days. Whereas down in Yom Sheni Ma'im Chadashim, Yom Sheni Ma'im Chadashim, like I said before, that's not a precise Gzera Shava. The Gzera Shava is exactly Yom for Yom. Here it says Chodesh also. Say from a different pasuk, Miyamim Yamima. This is a pasuk in Shoftim. Miyam Yamina Telachna Benos Yisrael Le Tanos Levat Yiftach Hagiladi Arbas Yamim Bashana. It says they would mourn. Yiftach was one of the Shoftim, an important Shofet. He led Klal Yisrael to victory. They used to mourn for him when he died 4 times a year. So presumably 4 times a year. That was intervals of 3 months. So and therefore it should mean what? It should mean every 3 months. Danin Yamim Yamim, Danin Yamim Yamima. Yamima is not exactly the same as Yamim. Yamim is Yamim. Yamima is something else. So Mayin Afkamina. Gemara says, why do you have to be so exact, right? I think this question is not just going on Yamim Yamim, it's going on Shnastayim and Chodesh also. Doesn't have exactly. Hatan very Shmuel, Shava Kohen Abba Kohen, Zui Shiva Zui Bia. This is the famous Gemara. The Gemara has Gzera Shava. Even the words are not even related, but they are related because both say Kohen. But Vishavu Ba, right? Vishav, when does he returns? Ba, he comes. The Gemara compares. The Gemara learns out by when he returns to, you have a house that got saras, it has neged saras. A house can get saras also. So after you close it off for 7 period days and then the neged saras stays there, the white stain or the green stain stays there. So then you have to dismantle the whole house. You knock down the whole house, replaster it, build it again, and see if it returns. So there's twice that he returns. So by the second time he's returning, right, it details what he's supposed to do, but the first time it doesn't detail. So the Gemara learns, just like when he returned, right? He returned, he knocked down the whole house. Also, the first time when he came, he also knocked down the whole house. So you see that you can make Gzera Shava even if not exactly the words. The Gemara says, there's no other place to compare it to. And we have a precise Gzera Shava, Yamim and Yamim, so we'd rather learn from the precise Gzera Shava. Some say, some say a different answer. We can't learn from Yiftach. Why? How do you know every 3 months, right? It was 3-month intervals, 4 3-month intervals. They used to mourn for Yiftach. Dilma Arba Zimni Bishasa. Maybe it was 4 times during the year. Arba Yarkin Chad Zimna, Train Yarkin Chad Zimna. It's arbitrary because it could be 4 months at one time, 2 months at one time. In which case, there's no interval, so you can't learn precisely to when Avshalom used to take a haircut. Rabbi Rai was the second opinion. He says once every 30 days, my time. Why would Avshalom get a haircut every 30 days? What's the reason Kohanim? The Gemara in Sanhedrin says Kohanim, they're supposed to get a haircut once every 30 days. The reason, because after 30 days, there's a little weight on your head. Your hair weighs a little more. Depends what kind of haircut. It really depends what kind of haircut you get. You get like me. I used to get for many years a 2. Now I just started getting a 3 because when I get a 2, my scalp starts showing. So I used to get a 2 for many years, but yeah, a 3. Some people they barely cut anything off, So if you're one of the people that don't cut anything off, so it's gonna get after 30 days, it'll start weighing on your head. After 30 days, I don't really feel too much hair. So Hakanamika COVID. So here also, after 30 days, there's a certain weight that you feel on your hair, and therefore, like Kohanim, every 30 days. I mean, the whole idea of Nazir Olam, we said Nazir Olam, when it's heavy, his hair is heavy, then he gets a haircut. So like Kohanim, here also. Rabbi Yossi over Megalech Erev Shabbos. He says once a week on Fridays. Ma'ika b'nei l'sharacholi. Right. So Avshalom was special. The pasuk goes out of his way to say because his hair got heavy. It's hard to imagine it got heavy after 7 days, but let's say it get heavy after 7 days. So we said all princes, right, sons of kings, they get haircuts every 7 days. So why is it singling out him that specified he when his hair got heavy? He's like a regular prince. Why does it have to specify that he did something special? So Ma'ika ben El Sharachoy, the Gemara says Yom Tov Shchal Yos Be'emsa Shabbos Dachui Megalkin Hula Megaleach. For example, the prince of a king, right? If Yom Tov fell out, let's say on a Wednesday or something like that, so Erev Yom Tov, you got a haircut. Even though you got a haircut on Friday, you get a haircut on Wednesday also because in honor of Yom Tov. He had to wait a full week because he was a Nazir Olam. Alternatively, even though they both got haircuts on Erev Shabbos, Friday, his brothers were able to get it in the morning. He was only able to get it as close to Shabbos as possible because really not supposed to get a haircut, but extenuating circumstances, 7 days, his hair is really heavy. So then close to Shabbos, he got a haircut, but now in the morning. Now back to this pasuk. The pasuk says, at 40 years, he asked his father David to go mishalim his nadava, to bring his karbanos and to shave his head. Why 40 years? He was going every year. Even according to Rebbe. Rabbi Norai Omer Mishum Rabbi Yeshua Leketz Arbaim Shana Sheshal Lehen Melech. Hashem is pointing at 40 years. This is 40 years after they asked a king. They were not supposed to ask a king from Shmuel. Shmuel says that Hashem will be your king, and the people were upset. They wanted a king of Basar V'Dam, and Hashem got upset. And then 40 years later, we talk about Avshalom. Now, Avshalom also rebelled against David, who was the Malchus based David, the Malchus that Hashem wanted. So therefore, it's important to remember that time, 40 years from the date where the people started rebelling against Hashem. Then they have the new thing of Avshalom rebelling against David and Hashem. Tana Osa Shan Shalahan Melech Yishnas Esra L'Shmuel HaRamasi. That year they asked the king. That was the 10th year that Shmuel HaRamasi was in charge of Klal Yisrael. Let's get to the Mishnah. The next Mishnah. Stam Nazir Shloshim Yom. Probably the shortest Mishnah you'll ever see in Shas. How many words is this? 4 words. 4 words. A regular Naziris, if you take a Nazir, you say, all right, any Nazir? How long do you have to be a Nazir for? 30 days. Not too bad, right? Menani Mili, how do you know this is true? Amar of Masa, there's no one arguing on this, right? If you say I'm a Nazir for a year, then you're Nazir for a year. If you say I'm a Nazir, 30 days. That's the halacha. Menani Mili, Amar of Masa, Amar Kra, Kadosh Yeh. It says Kadosh Yeh. Yeh be'gematria is Tlasin Havel. He will be Yeh, sort of an extra word. The gematria, sometimes use gematria for halacha. Yeh is 30. Parpada Amar Keneged Nazir Nizra Amurim B'Torah Shloshim Chaser Achos. The time it says the word Nazir or a derivative of Nazir, it repeats that 29 times, 30 minus 1, 29 times as in the Torah. So really, technically, the Mishnah really means not exactly 30 days, 29 days. We'll see in a second how he resolves it. Rav Masna Nami nailed it from Nazir Nizra. Why did Rav Masna learn it out from Kadosh Yeh? Why didn't he learn it out from the time it says the word Nazir in the Torah? Amar Lecha Hu L'Drasha. Right. Every time it says the word Nazir, it's to tell you it's not just for a minion to count. It's for a drasha. For example, Miyayim V'Sheichar Yazir. Like we learned already in this Masechta, L'Asr Yayim Mitzvah Kein Rashus. Right. It says Yayim V'Sheichar Yazir. It mentions Nazir when Yayim V'Sheichar to teach you that even Yayim Mitzvah becomes Asr through your Naziros. For example, like the Gemara said, Rava said, I'm going to take a shvuah that I'm going to drink wine. And then immediately after he said, become a Nazir, right, you can't fill your shvuah. Kiafli lindor neder nazir lahazir. Another time mentions the word Nazir, actually twice in that pasuk. Nazir lahazir, according to some opinions, teach you that when I take a Nazir, Harini Nazir, and then immediately I say Harini Nazir, the second one is Chal, right? Technically, for what, right? When I'm finished the first Nazir, I have to do the second Naziris. Barpada are going to say to you, top of Ham and Beis, like a Cham and Hon, the Lavlish Russia. There's at least one of them that's just, stated in the Torah just to say Nazir. It didn't have a specific purpose, it wasn't extra. The fact that at least one of them was just for counting. Kulunami, the Minyanas. So even the ones that were for Joshua, we used to count the amount of days that a Stam Nazir says. It's not. And the Mishnah says Stam Nazir Shloshim Yom. 30 days. Bishlam Alarav Masna and Hicha. Makes sense. 30 days. He said 30 days. Elo Barpada Kasha. Barpada says 29 days. Hamalcha Barpada says, when you finish your Nazirus, right, he says Nazirus 29 days you have Isurim on yourself. The 30th day you have to complete your Nazirus by going and bringing 3 karbanos and shaving your head. So that's what it was included in the Mishnah, even though really the Isurim of Nazir is only 29 days. Tanan, we have a Mishnah. Mishamar Harini Nazir Megaleach Yom Shloshim Ve'echad. If he says he's going to be a Nazir, where is this Mishnah? This is later on, Daf Tet Zayin. He says, I'm going to be a Nazir. The 31st day, he shaves his head and brings his karbanos. Instead of Masa, Nichar of Masa makes sense. 30 days, you're Aser. The 31st day, you bring karbanos. Allah Barpada Kasha. What's it good with the Mishnah? I'm going to Barpada. Ema Seif. I say the end of the Mishnah on Tet Zayin. I'm an Aleph. Im Gileach Liyom Shloshim Yatsa. B'di'evid, if he goes ahead, he only observes 29 days. And he brings his karbonos on the 30th day and shaves his head, he was Yotzei with the Evid. Ela Seifa Messiah. So, at least from the Seifa of the Mishnah, we see a proof to Barpada. Reisha, and what do we do with the Reisha? Nasa Gomer Shleiman. Must be the Reisha when it says that he normally, the Chachila, is supposed to be shave your head and bring the karbonos on the 31st day. That's where we have the assumption when he said, I'm a Harini Nazir, he said, I want to be a complete Nazir. Right? There's a Nazir, a regular Nazir, and when there are certain indications from the circumstances, we'll have to talk about this, then he wanted to be a full Nazir, and that's to be observed 30 days. According to Barpada, there's a 29-day Nazirus, which is the regular one, and then there's a Shleimin, which is a 30-day Nazirus. A lot of Masna Kasha Sefer. So we've answered the Mishnah according to Barpada, or of Masna, right? Obviously the ratio makes a lot of sense according to it, but how could it be with the Evid or Yotzei if you could Melech on the 30th day? Kasha is safe. Now, when it says that you're Megalech on the 30th day, you're Yotzei, that means he waited a little bit in the morning, and then he was Megalech. So therefore, he has part of the 30th day counts as the full 30th day. Snan, we have a Mishnah. Already Nazir Shloshim Yom. He said, I'm going to be a Nazir for 30 days. Im Gileach Yom Shloshim Lo Yatza. So this is against Barpada, right? He's Megaleach on the 30th day. Right? He says 29 days. You should be Yotzei. And where is about Omer Shleiman? It's talking about a case, that Mishnah, where he says Shleiman, a full Nazirus, even according to him, is 30 days. We'll resume this discussion tomorrow. The Gemara is not done trying to figure out who's right. Rav Masna or Barpada. Is it 30 days, 29 days? Even according to Barpada, there seem to be 2 different types of Nazirus. There's a 29 Stam Nazirus, 29-day Nazirus, and a Shleiman, a full 30, Google, it was funny, I was just looking at the stock market, ticker sticker, if you're following, my weekly trading moves in the stock market, documented in short videos. I was looking next week which stocks maybe to pick up, and Google. I for a long time I thought I was never going to buy Google stock, because I remember it was like trading at $2,400 a share. I don't even close to that much in my stock account, but I still had it split last June. Where was I? I don't know. 21 split, so it's trading around $100. But they have Google. They have 2 actually. They have one that you have voting rights, and one you don't have voting rights. So Google with the GOOGL, right? That you have voting rights. As opposed to GOOG, you don't have voting rights. They're trading around the same amount, but I guess that's Shleiman versus not Shleiman. My mind is kind of on the stock market right now. Check it out. Ticker sticker. Very interesting. I made $183 last week. A little upset. I did make on Friday $22. Technically, I didn't make any money until I sell, but that's one of the lessons sticker. You don't make any money until you sell. If I would have held Tesla, which I was last week's stock for, I went up $17.50. Right, I would have made over $100 in just one day, but I sold it. Unfortunately, my mother told me. She says, "You don't want to hold it longer, Tesla." My mother knew better, but we'll see. You can't regret it. I made money. I made $20. I didn't make $100. You have to be happy with what you have. That's one of the lessons sticker. Money is money. $20 is also money. So you have to be happy with that. Anyway, stay tuned for Ian with Van Sion. I'm going to talk more about this whole concept of shaving once every 30 days. COVID, right? According to two opinions, right? Nazir Olam, he takes Nazir for his life, right? According to two opinions, two or three opinions, either he's shaving once every 7 days or once every 30 days. And also the Mishnah, it's not Nazir Shloshim Yom. What does that mean, 30 days? You can't cut your hair for 30 days? I took a haircut and I sat on a Nazir now. Is that really prohibitive? It's really hard to keep your Nazirus over here. What are you doing? You're saying Kadosh LaHashem. You're not going to shave your head. You're not going to cut a haircut. Most people don't get a haircut for a month and a half, 2 months. That's normal. Most people get a haircut less frequent than 30 days. So if the Stam Nazir, regular Nazir, Harini Nazir is 30 days, like what is the point of the being forbidden to cut your hair? And yesterday's Ian Ben Sion, I talked about that Nazir is kind of, maneuver is kind of disgusting. It's not something which is, Nazir is like a crown. Some say Nazir is like having a crown on your head. You're not princely at all, and you have long hair. You look disgusting, and I gave an interpretation over there. I'll have to reconcile that with today's daf. Stay tuned. Ian Ben Sion coming up next.